Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding OpenAI CEO Sam Altman testifying before the Senate regarding artificial intelligence. And folks, you're going to want to listen to what this man has to say. It's freaky deaky. It's scary as hell. It's exciting. It's bad news, good news. It's all the above. And we're going to break it down for you. But before we jump into any of that, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. The question of the day is, do you think artificial intelligence AI should be regulated by the government? I look forward to reading your responses in the comment section below. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman testified before members of the Senate on Tuesday about the risks from artificial intelligence advancements, encouraging lawmakers to get this, to implement regulations. The dude that created it's like, you gotta regulate us, this stuff's insane. We don't know what we're creating. And I mean that by literal sense. I've watched podcast after podcast on this artificial intelligence stuff because it's exciting, it's awesome, it's exploratory. I mean, this is revolutionary, folks. We've never seen anything like this. And you're getting MIT professors coming in like the top of the best of the best regarding artificial intelligence. They're going, look, we don't know what we've created. We don't know what we've done. We hope there's nobody in there because this thing wants personality. It's creating its name. I mean, it's actually creating certain things that human beings have never experienced before. They don't know what they've done, folks. And there's no mathematical way of figuring out if there's something in there, meaning they created some sort of intelligence. There's no mathematical way of figuring that out. If you're not up to date on this, folks, you got to be, because it has the potential of affecting everybody. And we'll get into that in just one moment. So ChatGPT, which I'm sure most of you have heard of, a lot of kids are using it nowadays to write their papers. A mass market AI system developed by OpenAI has gained widespread popularity over the last 6 months as knowledge workers use the tool to complete tasks such as writing code, drafting emails in a matter of seconds. This stuff's insane, folks. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you just go check it out yourself because it is nuts. Altman, who dined on Monday evening with 6 lawmakers, said in opening remarks before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Tuesday morning that he knows the firm's technology will have, quote, profound impacts on the world. That's putting it lightly. Quote, we take the risks of this technology very seriously and will continue to do so in the future, he remarked. We believe that government and industry together can manage the risks so that we can all enjoy the tremendous potential. I mean, we are struggling with the potential of what's the potential of this thing actually either going rogue or the capabilities of this thing. A lot of mathematicians such as myself are excited that this thing will be able to fill in the areas of which you're struggling with in certain mathematical equations. Endless, folks, endless possibilities with this thing. And it's happening in real time. They're putting this stuff in the robots. OpenAI, of which we're talking about right now, already has partnered with a company called Figure to take its artificial intelligence and put it in the robots that in the span of like 5 years or less, most likely in the span of 2 years, they're going to have these robots do everything that you can do. I'm talking cooking, cleaning. It's already happening. If you think like, no way in hell, right? Because we're so used to things taking time. It is already happening. They already have robots in a kitchen with this AI stuff, flipping pancakes, taking your ingredients out of the cupboard. Everything that you can do in terms of cooking, these robots can do already. It is insane, folks. It's insane. There's other people that have said, hey, 15 years or less, this artificial intelligence incorporation with robots is going to get rid of at least 40% of the workforce in the entire planet. This isn't one of those things like people just shout, a bunch of nonsense all the time. This is legitimate in terms of the jobs that people are going to lose. And that's why he's pushing for regulation on this stuff. And we're going to get into that right now. Skeptics, which there are a lot out there, of recent AI innovations note that widespread technological unemployment could stem from the increased sophistication and prevalence of AI solutions. Absolutely correct. One recent forecast from Goldman Sachs estimated that AI could eliminate 7% of positions in the United States, largely in sectors that rely on office work such as administrative support and legal, while positions in sectors such as construction and logistics are forecast to remain broadly intact for a limited time. If you look at Boston Dynamics, they actually already have a robot without even artificial intelligence, by the way, that could sit there and carry heavy equipment and throw it. The thing's jumping off and doing like 360s and stuff. So this is a huge miss, I think, by Goldman Sachs, by the way. I don't think they're actually projecting this correctly. I think the guys that are in this industry that are teaching this stuff about artificial intelligence are the right ones. Again, they're saying numbers around 30 to 40% of jobs completely gone. You're going to have robots. That's not what this is talking about here. It's just talking about, AI being able to do your office work, send emails, write a bunch of stuff for you, answer legal questions. No. This stuff once it's put in robots, is going to even tell you if you're sick or not. They've already implemented AI in some universities just from your medical records that can tell you if you have cancer 3 years out from now. Like pancreatic cancer, to be specific. Just based off your record. I'm not talking about blood work, just based off your records. Folks, this is going to change the world. Whether it's going to be good or bad, it's going to change the world nonetheless. And it's going to happen. It's not like if, it is going to happen, and it's going to happen quick because it already is. Some analysts note that AI systems render individual workers considerably more productive. That is true, implying avenues from economic growth and more opportunities to creative work as the rote elements within many professions are automated. So for the time being, yes, it is helping increase productivity, but that productivity will increase later on because humans aren't going to have any involvement whatsoever. Any involvement. A lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. As Trump would say, a lot of people are going to be losing their jobs. We got to do something about it, folks. What's to be done? Do we regulate it? Do we treat it like Jim Acosta and kick it out? What do we do? What do we do? Altman, though, suggested that policymakers should consider modernizing unemployment insurance benefits. Sounds a lot like what I was just talking about, huh? Unemployment. And creating adjustment assistance programs for workers impacted by AI advancements. Folks, this is the guy that's leading the whole thing. This is the guy that helped create ChatGPT. This guy knows his stuff, and he's kind of sounding the alarm right now, going, you need to prepare for what's coming. He already knows what's coming. ChatGPT 4 is out right now. ChatGPT 4 is an exponential function in terms of what it can do compared to ChatGPT 3.5. They already have, folks, he's saying that they're not testing ChatGPT 5. There's conversation that ChatGPT 5 could be as close to synchronous as we're going to get for the time being. Obviously, there's going to be a 6, 7, and 8. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen quick. You got to understand this. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to tell you, we're so used to things taking 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Throw that out the window. That's old knowledge. You got to read up on this stuff. Because if you're having a kid right now that's going into college, and I've talked to my students about this, and I don't think a lot of people are taking this serious, your job is going to be impacted in 4 years. There will always be human jobs for the most part, but AI is going to take over a lot of that, and it will happen in a decade or less. I firmly believe that. The way that basically 3 to 4 went, it's head spinning. I actually struggle to grasp the advancement from 3.0 to 4.0. They already have 5.0. They're waiting to test it. They expect it to launch this December. 5.0 this December. Again, from 3.0 to 4.0. 4.0 kicked 3.0's ass. 5.0 is supposed to knock 4.0 out of the park. So if he's suggesting some policy makes here regarding unemployment, you got to believe the guy. We understand that new AI tools can have a profound impact on the labor market. As part of our mission, we are working to understand the economic impacts of our products and take steps to minimize any harmful effects for workers and businesses. Man, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Like I said, they've already partnered up with throwing this stuff in the robots. You're going to have military hopping in on this. Why would you not, as a business, right? You get rid of the insurance, the liability of the worker. There's no sick time off. You don't have to pay for that. I mean, productivity is going to go through the roof, and the thing's going to depreciate on itself. And you're going to have that asset just built in right then and there. It's cheaper. It's going to be cheaper. We expect significant economic impacts from AI in the near term. Near term sounds a lot like what I said. A lot like what I said, folks. Okay, the stuff's moving as quick as Joe Biden. Maybe not because Joe Biden's slow as hell, but you understand what I'm saying. Crickety-crackety-do. It's going to be moved and quickly. So we expect significant economic impacts. I'm having a lot of fun with you folks. From AI in the near term, including a mix of increased productivity for individual users, job creation, job transformation, and job displacement. We are actively seeking to understand the relative proportions of these factors. And it's tough to do because this has never happened. It's very tough, even mathematically, to think of something and its impact when it's never happened in mankind before. You're seeing some revolutionary stuff, folks. It's exciting, but it's also scary because you could be rolling in the realm of, UBI, universal basic income, because people can't get work, right? People are reproducing at certain levels. I mean, this is going to go so beyond this episode, but you're talking even an intellectual impact because kids aren't going to learn in the same way they were before because you have AI being able to solve everything. Beyond the potential economic impacts of these innovations, lawmakers and technology experts have noted the possible spread of false information and so-called deep fakes, which could impact news cycles and disrupt the legal system. So deep fakes are getting insane. Where if you're not familiar with what a deep fake is, it basically takes hundreds of images of an individual and it could throw them on some dude's face like mine, and I could be somebody completely different. And you're even getting voice alterations that are going to mimic that. So the potential with that and kind of the scary part is somebody could fabricate something that you never did or said, but it's all over the airwaves of you doing and saying the very thing that they said that you were doing, even though you never did it. It's already happened, by the way. I look up an article. I forgot the name of it. There's an article about a principal, and somebody created a deep fake. Students created a deep fake on the principal doing heinous things. It looks legit. People thought the guy really did it, and he never did. So if people don't like your political affiliation, they don't like who you are, they think you're a racist, bigot, sexist, homophobe, right? Like they call conservatives Republicans all the time. There's nobody from stopping and putting your face or your audio or whatever it is onto something or doing something you never did. So now we're really going into the territory of some seriously negative stuff that has the possibility of impacting everybody. Before, it used to be kind of the elites, right? The big figures. Oh, they're only going to do it to Trump or Joe Biden or whatever it may be. No. This is moving in the realm of creating you in some sort of different, I don't want to say dimension because that's not dimension, but you understand, creating yourself in a digital way that isn't really you, but it's performing things that you would do and would say, but you never did it. Huge impact. Elon Musk, who, by the way, is a co-founder of OpenAI, was since resigned his seat at the company's board of directors. And Steve Wozniak, a co-founder of Apple, made headlines after they signed an open letter, which I discussed earlier at the beginning, for the Future of Life Institute, which called for a 6-month moratorium on developing AI systems. Folks, you got to keep up with this. This is going to be revolutionary. It is going to happen. When 5 hits this December, your head's going to spin. And the fact that they're putting 4 in the robots, and robots can already cook, recognize certain things. The Figure company, right? It's called Figure. Probably not the greatest name. That robot specifically is going to watch what you do, and it's going to learn from you and be able to mimic the exact thing that you're doing. That's part of it. And it's going to be able to teach itself. It's going to be able to make it even better. I'll give you a prime example. Just one example of how this can do this, and we'll move on to the next segment. They had one artificial intelligence play chess millions of times. Chess has been around forever. And the thing was able to create strategies and moves that we've never even comprehended before. The reason why is because if you look at time and the amount of times it was able to play, man has not been able to play the amount of times that computer has in the different strategies and different ways that other capabilities are. And it was able to see it and comprehend it and then ultimately create new strategies and moves, of which, again, humankind has never been able to do. So it's going to be able to run those same processes in its back end. And it's going to be able to it's going to basically outperform us all day long. And it's already doing it in terms of ChatGPT 4 here on writing stuff using the internet and everything. The whole misinformation and everything else, that's another avenue because you can have this thing spit out false information, which is already done, and students are using it to write its papers. And so students are just taking it as whole cloth that it's right. The problem with ChatGPT 3 and 4 right now, or 3.5 and 4, is that it's kind of aggregating a bunch of information, but it's not able to tell which information is true. So it's going to give you some truth, but also some falsehoods inside your article that you're turning into your professor or your teacher. And so you want to make sure you read it and everything's correct. The problem is the students aren't researching things. They're just expecting, hey, this AI is going to know everything. So people could believe in false misinformation or disinformation, depending on if it's one of those things knowingly spitting out. Huge impact, folks. You got to be on top of this because it's going to happen in your lifetime real quick. For sure, the next 4 years is going to be insane. Insane. Head spinning. Let me know, do you think OpenAI or just AI in general, artificial intelligence, should be regulated? Folks, you're going to kind of spit your coffee out when I say this. I'm leaning towards yes. Because this has some serious ramifications for society. We need to take this slower than it's going because this thing's going to be nuts. But I want to know what you say in the comment section below. Moving into our next story of the day and our last story, a little bit of a shortened episode. Maybe not. Holy Lord, we're already almost 15 minutes into this bad boy. Hit that like and subscribe, folks, if you haven't already. We'd love for you to join us. Florida teacher defiant after showing woke Disney movie in class. Parents' rights are gone in public school. Now, before we all get all crazy here of another teacher going woke, I'm actually going to defend this teacher in some aspects and not defend her in other aspects. It's a very nuanced situation. Y'all know I'm a conservative. Y'all know I'm a Republican. I don't want to indoctrinate your kids. I don't want that woke ideology flowing in and stuff. I just want to teach them mathematics. That's all I care about. Just do well in class, do well in math, and succeed in life. That's all I care about. So with that understanding, just bear with me as I break this down because I'm going to take her side on some things and be a little bit nuanced. All right. So a Florida public school teacher under fire for showing a film with a gay character to her young students suggested that parents give up their rights when they send them to public schools. Look, you don't give up You don't give up your parental rights when you send your kid to school. I'm not your parent. I'm just there to take care of them and make sure that they do well in mathematics or whatever it may be. You're not there to push an agenda on them. But now we're kind of getting in some really dicey territory with what she does here, this teacher. So she's a 5th grade teacher, again, in a public school in Florida. Well, she defended her decision to show her class the 2022 Disney animated film called Strange World. I haven't seen it, but I guess it was for an earth science lesson. After parent and member of the school board, Shannon Rodriguez, complained, however, the teacher is now being investigated by the school district and the State Department of Education for showing the film with an openly gay character. Okay, which, this is where we get in dicey territory because there's a lot of things that you could grasp from certain films that somebody may or may not like, right? When you have like 30 kids in the classroom, you could almost show any film and have all parents sign off on it or whatever it may be, and somebody's probably going to find something to pick it apart with. That's the part I don't like. Now, I understand if you don't want your kids subjected to that stuff. I totally understand that. But the whole point of me saying this is, with any movie, you could probably pick out something that you don't like, that you don't want your kid to see. So Rodriguez said at a recent school board meeting that the film opens the door for teachers to have conversations with students that are inappropriate for the classroom. That is true. But you could say that about anything, you guys. As somebody that's in the classroom every single day, students are going to ask you a litany of questions. You have to be the adult and kind of just listen to them talk to you, but not respond to them or move yourself or disengage yourself from a certain conversation. You can't sit there and take the bait from a student, not saying they are baiting you, but you have to be the adult in the room and disengage yourself from that conversation and not allow that conversation to happen. I'm open about it. Like, I just say I don't want to talk about that. That's political. My students know I don't want to talk about political things with them. If it's finance, then yes, because finances has to do with politics, meaning the government, the way it functions, and how it's going to hurt your pocketbook. So there are certain classes where you want to have that conversation, not necessarily about gay characters and stuff and LGBT, but you understand the idea of how government works and how it can impact and affect you. But Barbie, that's her name, I guess, argued that students were already having conversations about same-sex relationships among themselves and on social media, and that would be impossible for teachers to stop them. That is true, but it's not about them talking about it with each other. It's about you as an adult engaging it and basically exacerbating the problem. You don't want that. And you kind of did open up a doorway here of playing that movie, which everybody knows is probably a hot button issue at the time. There's so many other movies that you could show, National Geographic or whatever, that would sit there and stop this from happening in the first place. Students ask me all the time, especially towards the end of the year, can we watch certain movies? They want to watch like Wolf of Wall Street and finance because that's to do with finances, but I'm not going to show that. That's insane. I already know there's going to be great pushback from that from parents. You don't have to think about this too hard. Okay, there's other Disney films. There's a lot of other things you could show in the classroom at the end of the year or to push a lesson. Furthermore, again, they're going to talk about this with themselves. She said that parents' rights to shield their children from LGBTQ conversations is gone when the child attends public school. Now, this is where I think some people are kind of twisting it and manipulating it. And because we have this, I don't know what it is, this fight against teachers. I don't think it's a fight against teachers. I think it's a fight against activists that are in the position of teaching. There's a difference. I'm a teacher. I'm not an activist. I go to my classroom. I teach my kids stuff. I don't want to have these conversations with them. I don't want to talk to them about sex or anything like that. I just, again, I know I'm being clear. I know I'm repeating myself. I just want to teach the subject of mathematics and have them score well. I want them to do well. I care about them a lot. I don't want any of this. They can have that conversation with their parents. But what I think the teacher's saying here is you're not going to be able to put the earmuffs on your kid and stop them from engaging with LGBTQ stuff at school, which I do agree with. You're not going to be able to do that. So I think that I'm giving kind of her the benefit of the doubt here, which I like to do with people, including Joe Biden and everybody else. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. That's what she's talking about. The rights aren't gone, though. That part's insane. Quote, what she's missing and what these parents are missing is that they are not in the school system. That doesn't have anything to do with it. That just shows me she's ignorant and has not come and volunteered at all, Barbie said on CNN this morning on Tuesday. These conversations, these doors, they're open. These students have one-to-one devices, like an iPad or a laptop and stuff like that. The amount of things they're able to pull up that we have to shut down, these conversations, these doors that she's talking about, that's telling you I'm stripping her rights as a parent. Those rights are gone from your child is in the public school system because there are students talking about these things. I don't know why you have to inject that idea of the rights of the parents. Parents' rights are not stripped from this. Parents have certain rights. there is that nuanced side of it, of truth, in terms of they're using this one-to-one. They're going to be engaging with these things. They're going to see it, even if they're not doing it in the classroom, at lunch or outside of school, whatever it is, sure. But our job as teachers is to mitigate that type of stuff from happening and making sure that they're not engaging with that type of stuff, but engaging with the content. They're there at school to learn. There's nothing in the standards to push the thing that this lady's talking about here of gays and stuff like that, as far as I'm aware of. I just teach math, so I'm not at all talking about this stuff. I just want, again, to teach mathematics. And if a kid is pulling this type of stuff up, they can close their laptop really quick because they need to be taking math notes and working on mathematics in my classroom, not watching all this other stuff and doing all these other things unless they finished all their work. Then whatever, watch YouTube, whatever you need to do. As long as your work's done, you're scoring well in my class and you understand the stuff, then whatever, that's a whole different topic. Well, it's where they get 90% of the socialization for the day. We can't shut down every conversation every child has. That is true. The elementary school teacher claimed the parent and school board member was targeting her in tandem with Governor Ron DeSantis' effort to rid public schools of diversity. In a sense, though, you have to be in tune with what's going on socially. You have to be in tune with, that Strange World was a hot button issue, especially for Republicans and conservatives, which are likely to have their children in your classroom. So that it's probably going to spark controversy if you play that. In the same way, if I were to teach at a predominantly conservative or Republican school, I know that there's certain films I probably shouldn't show in the classroom. There's a litany of other options that you can choose. But for some reason, she chose that one. Last month, Florida's Education Board approved an expansion of the parental rights in education bill, which I absolutely loved, which bans school employees or third parties from giving classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity, which I 100% agree with. DeSantis signed the bill last year, and critics dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill, even though it never said that. And by the way, it doesn't go to certain levels and certain grades in which people are pushing. The reason why he did this as well is because there's disgusting people out there and there's activists out there in the classroom that are showing children at a second and third grade level how to masturbate with cartoons and just really, even pornographic books in the library. It's insane. We would have never seen that stuff in school. You're barely drawing between the lines. And they're showing this stuff, but they can comprehend it. No, they can't. No, they can't. And somebody's in the classroom every single day. There's certain levels of comprehension that are incapable of happening because this hasn't fully developed yet. But every teacher knows, I shouldn't say every teacher, most teachers know the development of the brain because you have to go through it in your credentialing program. So that they can't comprehend certain things because the frontal lobe isn't fully there. Certain areas of the brain are still in development all the way up to 25, 26 years old. But for some reason, they think some child that's a 4 or 5-year-old is able to assume its gender. I just don't understand that. How can you even go on and say that? I mean, you got doctors saying that now. You got scientists saying that now. We have enough studies and evidence to prove this correct. Not just subjective, but objective evidence that everybody can look at and read for themselves to make a concrete understanding and decision that somebody is incapable of making a certain decision based on the evidence that they're being provided, which we have literally abundance of. So this lady knew what she was probably getting herself into. There might be a conversation here of, hey, this is what she's pushing, but you're not in her classroom. We don't know what she says all the time. We don't know what she does all the time. Could it have just been an off the cuff thing of I just wanted them to watch a Disney movie? Sure, probably didn't think about it. Maybe he's never seen Strange World. I don't know, folks. I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt because there's been a lot of attack on teachers. And I know that at some point it's probably going to happen to me, that there's probably some sort of attack or whatever. I said something, did something, and people are upset about it because they saw one clip of my episode. And it's all, a lot of this is entertainment, a lot of pizzazz and me moving around and energetic. I'm not like that in real life. I'm an introvert. I'm quiet. I don't talk to many people. So I just want to be careful with us targeting teachers all the time. There's teachers out there that are really trying to indoctrinate your children. They really are. That's their objective. Push the Black Lives Matter, the trans, and all that other stuff. I don't think that belongs in the classroom. If a parent wants their kid to learn that, or us as a society wants our kids to learn that, then we need to push that as a society then as a whole, and then institute that into the standards. As far as I'm aware, none of that is in the standards. We're only supposed to teach what is in the standards. Unless you can have sidebar conversation with students, but you got to be careful with those conversations that you're having with students because you want to make sure it's parental approved, which you can just sit there and just tell, right? Is it okay to talk sports to students? Generally, yes, right? Is it okay to talk about the weather outside? Yes. Is it okay to allow a student to vent to you about their relationship problems or whatever it may be? Yes, you just sit there and listen. You don't have to engage in a full level conversation. A lot of these conversations can be done with you just listening as a teacher and that will suffice. If a student wants to go on about LGBTQ stuff, you don't have to indulge it. You can just say, hey, I don't feel comfortable having this conversation. I think this is a conversation you should have with your parents, or just listen. You don't have to actually respond. You can just sit there and go, oh, I find that interesting. You don't have to engage with it, but for some reason, people want to engage with it because they have an agenda they want to push and all these other things. So let me know what you think about this. I was trying to be nuanced, the middle ground, plays devil advocate, but are you upset with this teacher? Should she not have shown Strange World? I haven't seen it. Maybe some of you have. Does Strange World really push a hardcore, like, gay agenda on students? Again, if somebody hasn't seen it, I don't know, but maybe some of you have. I would really, really love your opinions in the comment section below on this one. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe you're like, Brad, you're freaking nuts, man. You're not so, you're freaky. We don't know. Would love to hear from you nonetheless. Hit that like and subscribe button, folks. If you haven't picked up yourself a copy of Trojan Horse, pick yourself up a copy. We are going to do signed copies. I have only a limited amount of books, both paper version and paperback. I did order. It's already built out on the website. I just haven't published it. So if you go to baldbrad.com, you're not going to be able to see it. It is all set up. I just need to test it out myself to make sure it works so you guys aren't getting some freaky weird stuff going on. It's going to be most likely $50 for hardcover, $40 for paperback. If you don't feel like purchasing that because it's too expensive, obviously it's cheaper on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Walmart for not getting a signed copy. It's kind of an upcharge for signing and mailing it out and me doing work on the back end. So I love you guys. I know you want signed copies. I always appreciate you supporting me. It's your hard-earned freaking money in this economy. I am so thankful for those that have joined every morning, even joined to become an American Patriot through our club. I don't know if that's what you call it. The club, join tab. It's your hard-earned money, you guys. And I want you to know that I understand that. I respect that. And I'm extremely thankful. Don't feel like I'm not extremely thankful for you spending your money, buying mugs, shirts, joining $4.99, $99, buying the book. You guys are so supportive. You watch every morning, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm just really thankful for all of you. And thank you for the friends that we've created together here through the channel. And I hope to continue to grow it. And yeah, so thank you so much, folks. I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.